Thank you, John. Well, as Chuck Porter's got a bit of a lead on you there, because as you've been speaking, the questions have been coming in, and you've had time to prepare for some of them, Chuck. That's just not fair. A very interesting, cheeky question that's come through, but it has to be the first one. Very simple. Should we go back to the full-service model? Chuck?
No. Yeah, no, of course. I think that we should. I mean, our agency is more or less the full-service model. We work with a lot of media companies, but in terms of all the disciplines being at the table all the way through the game, that's the way. I mean, that's the way we work. Media is there, PR is there, everybody's there from the beginning of the engagement to the end, and hopefully, I mean, we may cook this a little hotter than we serve it, but hopefully the best idea wins.
John?
Well, I don't think you can ever go back. I think you always have to kind of go forward. I suppose in some ways I am agreeing with Chuck, except I think, we are trying to bind media thinking back into the agency, but in a very different way with what we call engagement planning, which I think sits above media. But I always thought when media in the UK split away from the creative process in the sort of late 80s, early 90s, it was probably the most stupid thing that ever happened in our industry. When people say to me the market's always right, I would say that's the one example where I genuinely believe the market was definitely wrong. And media and creative should be next to each other.
That's a very interesting point. I hope lots of journalists are scribbling there. Just to draw that out a little bit, obviously BBH part of, not solely part, but connected to the Publicis Group and to Starcom. Engagement planning is clearly something that they're offering their clients too. Are you meeting them in pitches now then?
Well, maybe we will. I mean, I think that's a great, the thing I would say is everybody kind of thinks it's either one thing or the other. And the world's not like that anymore. The world offers multiple choices. It says you can do it this way, you can do it that way. I remember when we set up BBH and we said we weren't going to do speculative creative pitches, everybody said this is completely stupid, I mean, it won't work, why are they doing it? Da, da, da. And all we were trying to do was offer a different idea in what was a very same marketplace. And I think today, increasingly, people want choice. And so lots of places will do things in different ways. We believe in a certain way of doing it. That's what we're pursuing. Other people might think media is the most important thing in the world, and that's the way they'll do it. It's fine.
You've run agencies that live through making its money through commissions against the media spend, to fees against creative service, and now your businesses are exploring other methods of payment through ZAG, intellectual property, and those aspects. This is something we talked about earlier today in the Mindshare session, and indeed will be covered tomorrow. But what's your perspectives on that? Do you think these new models of payment are going to grow? And are you excited and interested in that particular area? John?
We personally are. I mean, we think the fee system is severely flawed and is a kind of crazy system, but nobody could come up with a better idea once commission went. So we're coming up with success payments, we're coming up with brand owning ideas to kind of try and break it all down, to say, what we've got to do is somehow value the quality of an idea and find out how best we're paid for that, rather than just doing it on a straight hours fee basis, which is a complete nonsense and can't work in this complex media world we now live in.
Chuck, your view, and has there been an IP sort of model that, whether within your company or something you've observed, that you really think actually works for both the client and the agency?
Yeah, performance-based. We quit doing timesheets about 5 years ago because we realized we're not selling time, so why are we doing this? And it was interesting when we did that, but it's worked. But with virtually all of our clients, at least some portion of our compensation, and sometimes a significant portion, is performance-based, because for us, it is one of the best ways for us to get everyone aligned so that everybody knows we're all trying to do the same thing. And also, it seems to us to be fair. If we do work that has great success in the marketplace, everybody's happy. So we're looking at other things too, and we're doing some equity deals and stuff like that. But I think that the performance-based philosophy has been really successful for us.
Okay. One thing that sort of just to turn it back onto the audience a little bit, what questions would you like to ask of the clients and the media personnel in this room? You know, what do you think is one of the sort of fundamental issues that they're facing? And if we get one question on the board, what would it be? What would you like to ask of them?
Well, for me, it would be, I think one of the complexities today is understanding how you manage all this multitude of relationships that you're now expected to have. How do you actually decide where it is you're going to allocate, how is you going to allocate your funds, who you're going to give them to, where do you go, how do you manage this complex relationship? That's the thing I would say to a client today, because I think there are ways of doing it, but I'm interested to know how they would say, this is how I manage it.
Do you think creative agencies, the sort of research that's involved with that sort of process, do you think creative agencies are equipped to handle the sort of data and research that clients of today really demand in order to make their marketing decisions?
Well, it doesn't. Sorry, we have to work with a number of partners to kind of provide those services, as we've always done. But I don't think, we're not trying to be all things to all people. We have a particular point of view, a particular way of working, and I think we're evolving our way of working, which is perhaps different from other agencies. That's the most important thing.
Chuck?
I think we love research, and it helps us learn about the audience, and we love measuring. I mean, it is, since we're all performance-based, we measure a lot, and we measure a lot of different sort of performance elements of different campaigns, and we learn from that. So we believe in that a lot. We don't believe in attempting to research creative, because I don't think you can do that, and I think focus groups are not so good. But we believe we would like to get better at that. I think that for our agency, and I think for the industry in general, the next big step is getting better at figuring out how our stuff is doing. And the internet will help a lot.
Excellent. I'm going to have two more questions, because there's a lot more questions have now come in for the floor in our time. Interesting. Are you able to charge for ideas, and how are you going to do it?
Well, I think one of the great disappointments about our industry is, in actual fact, one of the disappointments about business is that it doesn't put enough value on an idea. And somebody once quoted that a great idea is the last real piece of value in business today. But somehow people think that they're kind of, just easily come by, and actually what you get paid for is executing those ideas. I would love to see us be more valued and paid for the idea. However, I would always say, we always say in advertising is 80% idea, but it's also 80% execution. And this is the conundrum that you constantly have to deal with. So, yes, I would like to see ideas valued more, because they can transform a business. We've seen some today from Chuck. What we did with Keep Walking for Johnny Walker has transformed their business and their profitability. How you get value for that is incredibly difficult unless you're executing it. If you're not executing it, then it's very difficult to put a value on it. So you've got to do both things.
Any thoughts on this nebulous concept of having to charging the client for the idea? Are we ever going to get?
All we sell are ideas. So if we couldn't charge for them, we'd be in deep, deep trouble. But I think that I'm not really sure I understand that question, because we don't see ourselves being in a service business. I don't think that the advertising business is a service business. I think it's a product business, and the product is ideas. And so, yeah, that's what we sell. So I think that's what people are paying us for. And I think that's one of the reasons why we went completely far away from any kind of hourly charging or stuff like that, because it's not really what people want to buy from us.
Okay. And the final question, I think we're probably... there's two interesting ones coming through presumably from media owners. So let me ask you the first one. Is it time for media owners to stop paying agency commissions? Says one disgruntled media owner in the audience, I'm sure. What's your view on...
I didn't think they did anymore.
Some
Where are they doing
that? Sort
that?
out your business models.
It's okay with me.
And someone in the audience has a final question. What advice do you have for media owners who are looking to talk direct to the creative agencies? And this is clearly an interesting change as well, where there's more media owners trying to offer creative services, creative opportunities for clients direct. So one question is, and it's the final one, what advice do you have, media owners direct with working with creative agencies?
I don't know. That's a really good question. We have had great experience. When we introduced the Mini Cooper to the U.S. about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, we went to all the automotive trade publications in the U.S. that you have to buy, and we said, we want to be a presence in your publications, but we don't want to buy ads. So come back with ideas. And they came back with great stuff. Rolling Stone did like little orange staples in one issue, so it looked like a slalom course. And I would like us to do more of that, and I would love to see the media do more of that, because great ideas come from a lot of different places, and there are a lot of smart people there.
I think, yeah, I would support that. I mean, there was a time when we were kind of, had media and creative all under one roof. We would constantly meet up with the media. We would find out what they were doing, what they were trying to do, what worked for them, and we've been separated from that. And I think the media loses out in that case, and I think we lose out in that case. So I think the first thing I'd say to them is, why aren't you coming and talking to the agency, the creative agencies, about what you're doing, what you're trying to do with your publications or your TV or whatever it might be, so that we can have a better handle and understanding of how to create for those particular publications or that particular media. I mean, it's crazy that we sit in isolation from those things, and it's just a madness.
Well, I think that's, given there's probably about 150 media owners here, that's probably a very nice note upon which to end. Ladies and gentlemen, can we thank, please, John Hegarty and Chuck Porter.